Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending which time zone you're in. Welcome to this month's Wild Wednesday webinar, sponsored by MiPPA and all of the District 3 regionals. Today we're delighted to have Stacy Garrett from Southwick Specialty Advertising on how to create a referral program to build your business. Stacy is a very successful distributor on the West Coast who has figured out how to develop referral programs to get clients out her and to bring more business to her. Today's webinar is worth one CAS point. If you are working towards your certification, you may send your CEU PIN number directly to me, paul@mippa.org. Or if you do not know your PIN number, you may send your information directly to your own executive director and they can look that up for you. And if you have any questions, go ahead and send it to me and I'll send it to your executive director and let them do the work. Today's session is being recorded, and we will be publishing the link to the recording on the MiPPA Facebook page, and I also will have that available. Again, I'm Paul Kiewit. I'm the Executive Director of MiPPA. My email address is paul@mippa.org. Stacy, I'm going to let you take it away. Stacy Garrett.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody, or morning in my time zone. I know that there's at least another person in my time zone on the call or the webinar today. Paul, do you want to talk about the chat on the left so people can ask questions?
Yes, there is. Go ahead. There's a chat box. Go ahead, Stacy, it's yours.
On the left of your screen, there's a chat box. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to put those in there. I will, it's a little distracting, so I'm not going to watch it nonstop, but I will try and watch for any questions and answer them at the time. Or if it's something that I'm going to get to, I will answer it when the time comes. Webinars are a little different because we don't have that two-way dialogue and conversation. So this is a great way for you to be able to engage in this and get as much out of it that applies to you as possible. And the whole point of me even doing this is really to pass along my knowledge to all of you and make it as valuable for you as possible. I know you're all really busy, and to take the time out of your busy day to sit and listen to a webinar, I appreciate it, and I want it to be as valuable for you as possible. Okay, so we're going to talk about referral programs. I have had a referral program for a really long time. I've done a lot of speaking on it. I've done a lot of thinking about it and researching it, read books on referral programs. And over the years, I've had a variety of different styles that I'm going to talk to you about today, and hopefully will give you enough ideas that you can go back and find a referral program that will work for you. Everybody's business is a little different, and the way they are comfortable doing referral programs is a little different. So I'm going to give you a lot of different choices. Okay, so first I want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as referral programs. I get asked this question a lot. I mean, what is a referral program? Basically, it's a plan. Most of us get referrals anyway, but it's kind of haphazardly done. Oh, Johnny told you about my business, and so you got a referral. But this is really a systematic plan that helps you to get recommendations from coworkers, friends, clients, or anybody else that you know. But it's about being intentional about it, not just haphazardly having those come in. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I started a referral program, because it might just give you that little spark that you need to go and do your own. Many, many years ago now, I did a survey of my clients and found that somewhere upwards of 80% of my clients said, oh, yeah, we refer you. And I sat there and thought about it, and I went, wait a minute. I haven't had that many referrals that have turned into customers. I wonder why that is. And what I realized is that I'm more likely to convert the referral into a customer if I have the ability to touch base with that person, that referral. If I can actually talk to them, introduce myself, give them a reason, make it easy for them to switch their business to me or start using me. And so I thought about, how do I get people to tell me when they pass my name along? How do I get them to say, hey, Stacy, just so you know, I told Johnny how awesome you are because he was saying he was looking for someone to do T-shirts for him. How do I get him to tell me that? So I decided a referral program was a great way to do that. I also, as I kind of mentioned, I know that I'm better at convincing a referral to become a customer because I can sell myself. I know more about what I do than the person referring me, not generally. Okay, so let's talk about why you should have a referral program. If I haven't already convinced you, here's a few more reasons. Most of these you already know. You just probably could use a refresher just like myself. And that's because most of us are already getting referrals. It just happens to be by accident or, because we're doing a great job. And I should say that from the beginning, I guess. Referrals only do you so much good. A referral program is not going to make you a better business. It's just going to help you get more customers. You have to do a great job in order to get those referrals to begin with. But we're getting them, right? We're doing a good job, and we're getting referrals. So what can we do to encourage those referrals to come more often, and maybe even from a better target audience for your business? We also know that it is a very inexpensive way to gain a new customer. It's not mass advertising to everybody under the sun. It's just so much more affordable than a cold call. You also have more immediate loyalty. You may not have thought about this lately, but think about when you have a referral. So I'm going to use a business outside of mine to give this example. So I have a dentist that I really love. I love my dentist. I know that's odd, but I do. I actually enjoy going to the dentist, which I have never in my life said. And when someone asks me about my dentist, or I think someone could use a recommendation to him, I tell my sister. She said, I'm looking for a new dentist. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have got to go see Dr. Elliott. He is amazing. He's fabulous. Well, already my sister is going to be more loyal to that dentist and probably not spend a lot of time looking for a different dentist because I've just sat there and said how awesome he is. And so that works the same for you. I mean, I get referrals, as you can imagine, nonstop. And I find that when I get those referrals, they're almost never shopping around. They're like, wow, well, Johnny said you were great, so I like Johnny. I trust him. He's a great business person. Why wouldn't I believe him? So there's this built-in loyalty from the very beginning. And of course, it's a lot easier than prospecting. You go right in from a referral to a meeting typically. You don't have to get through gatekeepers and figure out who the exact contact is. You already have that. So it's just so much simpler. I would normally ask everybody, are you all excited and ready to have a referral program now? But I believe that's probably the case for all of you on the call here. So we're going to talk about different kinds of referral programs. These are just names I made up for them to kind of help explain what I'm going to talk about. But basically, I'm going to give you a ton of ideas on how your referral program can look, and then you will pick all the different pieces that you think would be the best for your needs. So let's jump right into the first thing we're going to talk about with that is new customers versus recommendations alone. So my dentist has a referral program. Big surprise, right? He is actually a very good customer of mine, even for a dentist, which is surprising. His referral program is I get recognized for my referral only if that referral becomes a customer. So if my sister goes and talks to him and decides, yeah, no, that they're too expensive, I don't like the location, whatever, I don't get any recognition for that referral. So they have to become a customer in order for that referral to get recognized. The other way of doing it is, and you could do a combination of these if that works best for you, but the other one is to do a recommendation alone. So my personal referral program is based on recommendations. So if Johnny says, hey, Stacy, I told Rebecca about you and that you're awesome, hopefully she'll be giving you a call, I'm going to recognize his referral because he talked about me. And for me, for my own business, that in itself is something I want to encourage. There's no right or wrong answer to either one of these. It's just what you are most comfortable with. We're going to talk about some pros and cons of that. So for the new customer recognition, a pro of that is that there's no expense to you if the person doesn't become a customer. So my dentist doesn't have to give me anything, do any kind of recognition to me if my sister doesn't become a customer. So easy to show the ROI on it. You have no out-of-pocket expense if they don't become a customer. The other pro of it is that it kind of encourages quality referrals instead of quantity. You know that you're not going to get me just telling everybody under the sun, mass blasting out to everybody I know, hey, this is a great dentist. I'm going to think about people that are a good fit for him more likely than just blasting it out to everybody under the sun. So the downfall is that sometimes it's really not the fault of the referrer or the person giving you the referral that they don't become a customer. Maybe that referral to Rebecca was for 2 T-shirts for tomorrow. That's not a fit for my business, so I might not be able to make that happen. But I really appreciate Johnny giving me the referral, but he would not get any recognition for it. So that's a con of it being a new customer. It also is delayed recognition because, as we all know, I might get a referral today, meet with them next week. 6 months down the road, they might become a customer. It might be at 1 month. It might be 6 months. Who knows? But it's a little more delayed reaction. I actually used to have it where it was new customer, and one of my customers that I sent a gift to, he said, "Who was this for again?" I don't even remember referring you. So that's a downfall. I mean, we just happen to have a business cycle that sometimes takes a little longer, so that's one of the cons. But the pros are also really fabulous, so you have to pick which is best for you. All right, so then the recommendation alone, some of these we've already touched on a little bit. The pros are that it encourages your referral source to pass your name along often. That can be good and bad, but in my world, I want people to talk about me. I love that kind of word of mouth advertising, and not everybody's going to be a good fit, but I feel like there's success in numbers. But it does, recommendation alone encourages people to just keep talking about you. It's also a little less complicated to communicate to the referral sources what your ideal client is. I mean, you're just saying, hey, talk about me. You know what I do. Talk about me. I'll recognize you. And, of course, it's a faster recognition. Johnny says, hey, I passed your name along to Rebecca yesterday. Hopefully she'll call you. Today I'm sending out a gift that says, thank you, Johnny, for referring Rebecca to me. So that is nice and quick, and we're going to talk about how to make that happen easily and with some systems in your office. The con is that you may not get as good a quality referrals. I mean, the fact that Jessica wanted 2 T-shirts tomorrow is not a perfect referral for me, but so that's a negative. But that works for my business. I'm okay with that. It's also slightly more expensive, possibly, because you are recognizing more people. You're going to recognize anybody that gives you a recommendation, and not just the ones that become customers. So if your conversion rate doesn't happen to be that good, or your referrals are not that great, and you find that it's too expensive, maybe you shift it and adjust it to vary a little bit. All right, so those are a couple different ways that you can recognize either as people become a customer or just on the recommendation or referral alone. So let's talk about a few different ways to do the recognition. This is probably what I get the most people talking to me about. How did you do it? What do you do? Because we're really creative, but sometimes we get kind of pigeonhole ourselves into what we know and what we've done. And so we don't, it's hard for us to think outside the box. So I'm going to give you a lot of examples, and then you can decide which of these work well. Again, don't forget the chat box. If you have any questions while I'm going through these, great time to ask those. I'm sure there will be a few questions. All right. So first we're going to talk about immediate individual recognition. Basically, that is Johnny gave me a referral. I'm going to recognize him when he gave it to me. Or if I was doing a referral program that was based on new customers, they became new customers. Johnny gave me a referral to Rebecca. A month down the road, she became a customer. I'm going to recognize him just at that time, that individual person. And that might seem like a no-brainer, but there are other ways that I've done it that have been successful, and I'm going to talk about as well. So this one is a little more mainstream, I guess, what most people would end up doing. So some pros of that are that it's pretty immediate. So it's when the person becomes a customer or when the referral happens, boom, you are recognizing them for the referral. It is an opportunity to recognize repeat referral sources, potentially more often. So when a lot of my referrals come from some of the same people, and even factories. I get referrals from manufacturers. They'll send me, hey, we got this lead in from our website. We don't sell direct, so is there any way you can take care of them? I noticed that they're in the Portland market or the whatever. And I recognize them as well. And sometimes I get multiple from the same supplier. And so having an individual, immediate program allows me to just continually recognize them. It's also a little easier to develop a tracking system because you just say, it's really simple. I keep an Excel spreadsheet. I go, all right, who gave me the referral and who was it to? Check. Yep, we sent out the referral gift. Done. It's not any more complicated than that. And you'll see some of the other ones that are a little more complicated to track. I'm all about keeping it simple. I know that it's easier for me to manage if I can just boom, get it done. Some of the cons are that you give maybe a smaller gift because they're happening more often. You might even get repeat exposure with the person. So it needs to be a little bit smaller, maybe not as much value. That's a con, but you can see it as a pro because the expectation isn't that it's a big gift anyway, so it might save you a little money. But you would give a little bit smaller gift. And another con for some people is that it is a little more effort to constantly recognize those referral sources. So for me, when I get a referral, I'll say it varies week to week, but I get 2 or 3 referrals a week. That means I have to do something 2 or 3 times a week. So that's a little more effort. I do have a system down. Everything is within an arm's reach, so it's easy for me to do the recognition. But for some people, that's a barrier to making it happen, so you might look at some other ways of recognizing people. All right. Here's another thought. This is actually what my dentist does, is the tiered recognition program. And basically that's encouraging people to refer you more than once, and the level changes the recognition based on the number of referrals. So with my dentist example, and as you can imagine, I actually run the program for him. I don't do any of the fulfillment of it, but I provide all the products for the program. So until the very top tier. So basically, level 1, I refer him to one person, and this is it's tracks forever. I refer one person, and I get a nice little pen in a box. And I refer a second person, and I get a nice tumbler with a straw. And then I refer a third person, and I get a nice notebook. And then the fourth person I refer, I get a $50 gift card to a steakhouse. And so that's a tiered program. And then after you do 4, you go back to the beginning. So we'll talk about some pros and some cons of that. Some of them you'll already intuitively think about, I'm sure. But some pros are that it encourages repeat referrals, which is great because the more your referrer knows what kind of potential customer you are, the better. And happy customers or people that think you are great tend to be the best referrers anyway. So kind of encourages that repeat referrals. It also gives you an opportunity to give a nicer gift. My dentist is probably not going to give me a $50 gift card every time I give him a referral, but he can give me something really wow at the top end, and he gets to give me several different things. So I have, I could potentially have a whole desk full of his items. And what happens there is you also, you give them some of those things, and then I'm reminded more to refer him. So it's not a losing situation. Downfall, as you can imagine from what I was describing, it's a little more difficult to track. You can figure out ways that'll work within a system for yourself, but it is a little more challenging because you have to keep track of, okay, has Rebecca given me a referral already? Oh, yep, gave me 2 referrals over the last year. I need to give her the third level program or referral gift. It's also a little more challenging to communicate because you have to communicate all of those different levels to your potential referral sources, and I'm going to talk about how I communicate my referral program in a bit. It also does send the message that more referrals are more valuable, and that we know that sometimes that is the case, but that may not be the message you want to send to people, that it's more valuable. But, you have to balance those pros and cons. All right. Next, we're going to talk about, this is how I started my referral program, was in a time period. So a monthly, quarterly, annual recognition program. Basically, that says if anybody recommends you during this certain time period, you will recognize their referral. So I started it, I actually did it every 2 months, and I said, okay, hey, if anybody refers me over the next 2 months, I'm going to send you this item. I did a duffel bag, I did a backpack, I did a nice blanket over that particular time period. It's kind of nice because you can communicate pretty easily about the referral program, because you can say, hey, anybody want this backpack? Some examples I have of this are, my assistant who works for me now was actually a customer 13 years ago, and she still to this day has the blanket I sent her and the umbrella I sent her, because she was a great referral source for me. She still has those because they were nicer products, and I could justify them being nicer products. Another example, I had a customer, this is probably a con of it, but that was a great referrer, and she really talked about, she really would talk about how great I was, and she loved the products that I was giving away. So one time, towards the end of the time period, she said, I just gave you another referral, but I don't really want to tell you because I want the next gift. Or can I get 2 duffel bags? I'm like, really? Yes, you can have 2 duffel bags, whatever. But you'll find that one of the benefits of having a referral program is actually that people will want to do the referral program. They'll want to do the referral program for their business as well, because it does provide a lot of value. So I did have a question asking about how I introduced the program, and I am going to get to that in just a couple of slides. So I will talk about how I talk about these different referral programs with customers, and I've done it a lot of different ways actually. So here's some pros and cons. The structure can be really easy to communicate, because you're basically saying, hey, in Q1, if you pass my name along to someone and tell me about it, that's the key on any of these referral programs is there's no way for them to get the gift or whatever kind of recognition you're going to give them unless they tell you they gave you the referral. So it's pretty easy to communicate. You just say, hey, look at this really awesome, emergency battery charger or speaker or duffel bag or whatever it is. Here's this really great product. This could be yours if you pass my name along over this quarter and tell me about it. So it's really simple to communicate, and depending on the time frame that you're doing it, you could actually communicate it quite a few times. And all of you know that any chance you can communicate to your customers and not actually try and sell them anything is sometimes actually a great strategy for getting them to think about you. And, oh, that's right, I'm so glad you sent that email. I can't tell you how many times I've sent an email out about a referral program and had people say, oh, my God, that's right, I need more hats. We've run out of hats, and I keep forgetting to email you. Excuse me. So this is a great one to encourage that kind of communication. It also allows some variety in the program. My program that I have for my referral program, I typically keep about a year. And so, it can get a little stale for me sometimes, not to my customers necessarily, but it can get, like I want something different. I get really excited about some of the products that are available and the ideas that I have. So this allows you to have a lot of variety. If you've been dying to figure out a way to get emergency battery chargers into your customers' hands, but you don't want to spend the kind of money that is required to do that, this is the way to do it. You just get a small amount of them. And that goes to it's a higher level gift because you're not you're recognizing everybody at the same time. You don't have to anticipate the need. So when I did my quarterly one, I didn't actually order the product in advance. I waited till close to the end to see about how many I was going to need. So I only had to have, if I had 20 referrals over that time period, great, maybe I ordered 24 or 25 of the duffel bags, but I didn't have to order 100 and not know if I'm going to use them, or order 20 and end up being short. So, and you can get a little higher level gift because you're not really buying as many. Let's see, some of the cons are that you do have to have a little more communication with your referral source. So you do need to let them know when they say, hey, I recommended Rebecca to you. You need to let them know, that's awesome, thank you so much. And then you have to send them the gift or give them the gift, and communication along the way. It's a little more complicated tracking. I'm not going to say it's super complicated, but you do need to keep track of Johnny and Rebecca and all those names to make sure that you don't miss someone that did send you a referral. And as I kind of mentioned before, you might forget about the people that gave you the referral may forget about the referral. If it's quarterly or even annually, and that's where that communication is important, keeping good track of that Johnny recommended Rebecca, letting him know that you got that referral, and then when you send them the gift saying, hey, thanks again for your referral to Rebecca, here's your gift, I appreciate your passing my name along. And the other thing is you have to think about the recognition gift. That's, we already talked about, that's kind of a pro, but it's, and when you get a little crazy busy and you're like, oh my gosh, wait a minute, it's the start of the next quarter and I don't have any gifts planned for the referral program and I didn't send an email out yet, that sometimes can be a barrier. But my experience has been that it's a really good excuse to make me think about it, because I need to be thinking about it, and sometimes having that deadline forces me to work on my own promotion. I'm sure you're all the same way, or have the potential to be the same way. You get caught up on all your clients' projects and you go, oh, shoot, I'm sponsoring this event and I didn't buy, the items I need for it. So that's just one of the cons of it. But I do love this way of doing a referral program. It's a great way to start because it's a little simpler and it allows you to see how the program's going to go. It's hard to tell until you've started a program how popular it's going to be. Okay, so a couple things that I think are really important to consider when you're looking at your referral program. I've given you a bunch of ideas already on the types of referral programs. I'm still going to talk a little bit about how you go about it and some of the ways I communicate about it. But it's really important to communicate about the referral to the referral source and the referral. If they give you a name, don't just wait for them to call. I mean, you will have a better ROI if you actually reach out. And oftentimes I'll get someone that say, hey, just so you know, I passed your name along to Rebecca. I will say, great, do you have her email or phone number so I can touch base with her and make it a little simpler on her? And usually they're more than happy to do that because they just told you that they gave you the referral. And then it also allows you to say thank you for the referral. And usually for me, that's via email. But it could be in person. It could be with a card. You also need to have a really easy system for tracking and recognizing the referrals. Mine has always been in Excel. It's super simple. I like to keep things simple. I don't want to overcomplicate anything. So I just keep something in Excel, and I could look back to 4 years ago how many referrals I got versus now. And what I'm going to talk about in a minute is you need to have some methods for asking for the referral. This is where I find that most people are the most uncomfortable. I know that most of us are somewhat in sales, and so asking for that referral is challenging. But here's a way to transition to make it easier for you. When someone says, hey, we got all those products for the event. Man, they were great. You guys are so awesome. Simple. Say, oh, I'm so happy. Probably you don't have to say it like I do. Oh, yay, I'm so happy. But I'm so happy that you like it. We love to work with customers like you. If you know anybody else that could use our fabulousness, feel free to pass my name along and let me know, because there's a gift in it for you. You would wordsmith it to the way you want to, but if there's no other way that you ask for the referral, make it anytime someone gives you a compliment. I'm guessing they come in almost daily, and so these are great opportunities to kind of gradually move yourself into being systematic about asking for those referrals. I'm not good at just out of the blue asking for a referral. I like there to be a good segue. I don't want to feel like I'm pushing people too much. But if they say I'm awesome, usually they are happy to pass along my name. So we just need to remind them. I'll give another example since we're really good on time. I have my insurance agent. I also love my insurance agent. Again, not many people will say that. My agent and the company has been really great. But I don't really think to give a recommendation or referral for my insurance agent. Most of us don't even like that we have to pay so much in insurance, and so I don't think about it very often. But I'm happy to pass his name along. I'm very happy to do it. So for him, anytime I tell him, you are so awesome, thank you for taking care of that so quickly, thank you for your great communication, he should be saying, you're very welcome. If there's anybody else you know, please feel free to pass along my name. I really do appreciate referrals. And, insurance agents are usually a little better about that, but typically it's just in their signature line. It's not in a genuine conversation that people have. And so I think about that in my own business, that it wouldn't bother me one bit when I'm telling him he's fabulous for him to ask me for the referral, because I want him to be more successful. I want him to be so successful that he will stay my insurance agent for a long time. And one of the ways I can do that is by telling people how great he is. And going back to the beginning when I said that they're more loyal, imagine if I was telling someone how awesome my insurance agent was and my insurance company and how much, all these examples. Well, they're probably going to give him the benefit of the doubt from the very beginning, because I told them that. I told him how great he was. And then this is just reinforcing what I've already said. Keep it really simple, especially to start. If you don't have a referral program already and this is your first stab at it, keep it super, super simple. Encourage those referrals and then maybe elaborate on it. But do something you can handle. Have a plan. It doesn't have to be this book of thoughts on what the plan's going to look like. Just have a simple plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to communicate it. And start that way. You'll see how many referrals you get. It's really amazing. Once you start to encourage those referrals, it will snowball a little bit. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the timely communication. We talked about letting the referral source know that you received the referral, and I encourage you to set up a follow-up, like a timeline that is acceptable for you. My team knows that if we get a referral, we are to send the referral gift out within 24 hours of the referral happening, that we are also to follow up. If we're given a phone number, we are to follow up with that person within 24 hours to at least say, hey, Rebecca, John said that you were looking for XYZ. Let me know how I can help you. Again, my method of communication is typically email, but for you it might be phone calls, whatever is easiest for you. But that is something my whole team knows, so that if the referral comes in and I'm not the one that actually handles the referral, my assistant sometimes takes care of some of them, like the 2 T-shirts that Rebecca wants tomorrow. She might handle that. But make sure you set up some kind of goals on how you're going to, the timeline you're going to use for communicating with the referral source. We talked about the tracking system. My assistant also has access to the tracking system, so we can both see who has sent the thank you gift excuse me, and my assistant actually often does send the thank you, just because it's so systematic that that it's easy for her to do, and it still looks like it came from me and my whole team. And try and track that referral. And I don't track the conversion as much now as I used to, but it was fascinating to track my referrals versus the conversion from into a customer. And I just know that I convert a good 50% or more of my referrals into customers. And so that will help reinforce your need to have a referral program. So I encourage you to do that if you can. And again, you can do it in Excel fairly easily. Okay, the other thing I'm going to talk about is some of the examples of what I've done, and the need to have everything and on hand and have it be really easy. So this picture is actually the one I had from last year, but I think it's a good example of what I sent for a referral program. And so to answer some of the questions that I've gotten, do we logo the gifts? And we typically do a combination of logoed items because I recognize my referrals when they are just a referral alone recommendation, not a customer. I send in 1 year, some of my customers might get 4 or 5 of them. So I need it to be something that they can use several of or that's somewhat consumable. So in this example that's pictured, I did really simple, keeping in mind, I might send out 15 or 20 of these in a month, so I can't have it to be too expensive either. I sent a microfiber lens cloth with my business card slid in it because with every single referral recognition gift I give, I make sure that I send at least one business card because it's possible when they recommended me or referred me that they gave away my business card. So I want to make sure they have that on hand. So I make sure there's a business card in there, and that just is a good medium for having that. I send them some mints in this package and then a Starbucks gift card. So the real bulk of the gift is that Starbucks gift card. But I would be neglecting my business if I didn't put some logoed items in there. Can they use 10 packages of mints over a year? Sure. They're somewhat consumable. They're going to eat them, ideally. And the lens cloth, I also believe people could use a lot of those, so they can't really have too many of them. And then the gift card, it comes and it goes. And on the gift cards, because I don't have custom Starbucks gift cards that I do, I actually have a sticker I put over them that says, "Thank you for the referral. We appreciate your business," or something, and then my logo, so that's going to be separated from the little pouch, and I want them to remember when they go to use it, the 1 or 2 times that they use it, to where it came from. So at least I'm getting some repeat exposure from that. Right now, the referral program I'm doing is it's the one I'm enjoying the most of any one I've ever done, and it's probably the least expensive one I've ever done. And so I was reading a book about referral programs, and someone said something about a lottery ticket as a referral gift, and it's got me thinking about how I genuinely am so thankful for every referral I get, even to Becky that wants 2 shirts. I'm so thankful that the people in my world trust me enough to pass along my name. So I started thinking about the lottery tickets and luck, and so I designed a card, a thank you card, that has kind of the pot of gold, this lucky theme, and it talks about how lucky I am to have gotten their referral, and then on the inside I write whatever I want to write in it. And then inside the card is a coin that I had made, a die-cast coin that has a 4-leaf clover in it, and talks about, it has our logo, and we're lucky to have them as customer. Or lucky talks about luck. Anyway, and put that all in the black pouch with scratch it lottery tickets. So the idea is the coin is used to scratch off the lottery tickets. It exposes my customers to a product category that they may not think I do, die-cast coins, and they could get 100 of these in a year, and it's no problem. And what happened that I didn't realize how well this would happen is that I get emails, Facebook posts, I get all kinds of communication back from my customers saying, I won $2. Yay, thank you. It's really funny how it has created a little more of a conversation about it. I'm hoping they win big money. Most people aren't winning a ton of money, but it's more about the chance of winning that money. The downfall of this program is, like I get referrals from factories, that's a little more challenging because they're not in Oregon where we have that certain lottery that I'm using. And so, or I have some customers in Utah that have referred me, and I'm a little uncomfortable with sending them something around gambling. So that's a very unique situation. But so I send them a Powerball ticket, a national lottery. So the coin isn't as good a tie-in, but that's such a rare situation that the majority of the people that are referring me are actually in the Pacific Northwest or Oregon. So that's a fun one that I have done. And again, everything is within my arm's reach. I have the envelope, the card, the coin. They're already pre-stuffed into the little pouch, so all I have to do is buy lottery tickets every so often, and I just keep them right here in my desk so that I can easily send it out. I mean, that's, I think, really critical. Let's see. So to answer a couple of the questions, so the logoing, yes, I always include at least something that's logoed. It is the business I'm in. Sometimes the logo is maybe more subtle, but in most of my most recent referral gifts, I have put a logo on it and made sure that they knew where it came from. Someone, let's see, Joanne asked about the wording on the lottery with the lottery tickets. I could actually, Paul, can I send you artwork on that and you could post it with the recording?
Yeah, would definitely do that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I'll send you what I did for that package so you could at least see a picture of the wording. It's, it's not earth-shattering. It's basically just very genuine. I really do appreciate and feel very lucky when people pass my name along. And of course, that's my style. You might find another way to do it, but that's my style. And another question that just came in is, do I include a thank you note with the referral? I do. I always include. I happen to have custom printed ones for this referral program now, but prior to this, I have a general Southwick one, and I always write something in it, a handwritten note that just says, we're talking about maybe 20 in a month. I mean, it doesn't take that long. I just say, hey, John, thanks for the referral to Rebecca. Referrals mean a lot to my business, and I really appreciate you trusting me with your friend. Or, I really appreciate you taking the time to pass my name along, because I do. And so I want to make sure that they know that. Okay, so let's talk about asking for the referral. Again, that hard spot for a lot of people. I've already kind of touched on this, but I cannot touch on it enough. Happy customers will refer you. They're glad to do it. They maybe just need to be reminded. So when you're developing this plan, because remember, a referral program is, a systematic plan here, you need to figure out how you're going to communicate the program. I have done a lot of different ways. I will tell you about a few different ones. I'm going to give some examples of some email blasts that I've done. There was one point when I first started the referral program that had the Starbucks card on it. I did a direct mail to who I thought were good referral sources. And I used to actually keep my CRM when I organized my customers. I had them categorized by, ABC customer, referral source, because I put some of my family and friends in that referral category in mailings, because I get a lot of referrals from my friends. They may not be in the position to purchase from me, but the owner of their company is, or their marketing manager, or what have you. So those people are also great referrals, and I recognize them as well. My dad is like, I adore him, but he'll be like, hey, I saw this truck the other day. I think you should call them. Here's their phone number. I'm like, Dad, that's not a referral. That's just I could do that. I could open the phone book if I wanted to. So figure out a plan to communicate to them. It can be in an email. That's how I do most of my referral communication is via email now. But I did, when I started this, I did a direct mailing when I was promoting this new program where I was going to send them a Starbucks gift card. And I sent a postcard that had, those credit card mints. It was in the shape of a coffee cup, and I put that mint, I stuck it with the little glue tabs on the card in place of a coffee cup and said, are you referring us? Let us know about it, and coffee's on us. And it was that simple. I did end up putting it in an envelope because of the card, and this was probably 5 years ago. And then I direct mailed those to everybody I thought were potential good referral sources. Today, if I did that, I have a better idea of who my referral sources might be. That might be a list of 100 people because I'm not getting referrals from just everybody everywhere, but who do I think really know me and think that I'm just a rock star. That's the key here. The people that just think you're a rock star, they have no hesitation about telling people who you are. If you do a newsletter, email version or hard copy version, include it in there. Have a little blip it. Maybe you talk about referrals that have happened. A referral that happened to you recently. Maybe it's a picture of someone scratching off a lottery ticket, whatever it is. But if you're doing a newsletter already, make sure and include a little section about your referrals. Direct mail I already talked about. And then in person. When someone says I'm awesome, that in person or, real time, I really do say, if you know someone else that would like this kind of service, please pass my name along. Okay. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze here. Okay. So here's my email blast that I do. I keep it somewhat consistent. I actually have changed it since this was done, but I have the most examples of this. I send a very specific just for my referral email out. The problem I have run into, I know none of you can imagine having this problem, but you probably will once you start doing a referral program. I have gotten so many great referrals. My business has grown so much that I can't send emails out about my referral program right now because I have to continue to be able to service the customers that I have and service them very well. So they're naturally still referring me, but I can't. If I sent an email out today saying, hey, do you know of anybody? I'd get bombarded with referrals. Great problem to have, I understand, but right now I just cannot, and I haven't been able to for the last few months, send out any communication about my referral program. I still get them, and they still come. Again, it's by accident at this point, kind of, but I do have a system. They know they're going to get a gift, but I don't communicate it regularly. But these are some of the messages that I've sent out, and I get a great response. People say, I had an HR manager, one of the last ones I sent out. He said, man, I was just at a job fair last week, and I had all these people asking where we got our cool stuff, and I didn't have any business cards on me. Can you bring me like a handful of business cards so when I go to these shows, I can give them your card? Oh, let me think about that for no time. Of course, I'm happy to give him. He's an HR manager. I'm happy to give him a stack of my business cards. This email reminded him that he should have a stack of business cards when he goes to those events. It didn't necessarily just, generate a referral right that second, but it has the potential to generate a lot of referrals. But it is a good reminder. It's a simple. The point is to do whatever it is that works for you, and with your method of communication. This is not how my emails normally look. They're a little more rigid, but I wanted something kind of fun and to not make it look too businessy, because that's the other thing. I have a very diverse client base. I have doctors, I have lawyers, I have construction workers, and high tech, very diverse groups. So I didn't want any one to be pigeonholed there. Let's see. So that's it. Yeah. So what other communication do I do? In the newsletter, and I don't have an example of that actually, I have done it. Usually it's in the lower right-hand corner, but depends on the format that I'm doing for my email blasts. I put something about, have you looked, do you know anybody that is looking for our great service? Don't forget to tell me that you passed my name along, because that's really critical for me. I know that I will close a lot more of those, close those deals, but convert them to customers if I have the ability to talk to them. So that, my friends, is all. Does anybody else have any more questions they want to throw in the chat button or dialogue there? I cannot tell you enough how referral programs have changed my business. There's a lot of factors that have improved my business I've been in business for almost 15 years, and I have every year but 1 year had double-digit growth. Last year I grew 38%. The year before that, 28%, 27.5%. I mean, I have seen a lot of growth, and I haven't done a cold call for 5 years. I mean, I just don't do cold calls because I get so many referrals that I don't need to do cold calls, and they're a lot more fun because usually they're also usually the referrals are a good fit for me. That's another thing that's important. I mean, I understand that my style is not for everyone. I do get that. I'm a little more genuine. I'm just kind of down to earth, and that doesn't work for everybody. Some people need something different. And so when I get a referral, typically that referral is someone that is compatible with me. I mean, it's amazing. Some of the people I meet with for the first time, I'm like, I feel like I'm friends with you. This is a great fit. And because our personalities just work together. So that's another real good bonus of having a referral program is that you don't have necessarily, it's not always the case, but personality conflicts because they're not going to refer you if they think that you guys are just too different. Someone did just send a message saying, mentioned a book about referrals. I wish I could remember the title. I've read several different ones. One thing I did find really valuable is, and I find that not very many people do podcasts or listen to podcasts, but I found a podcast on referrals, and they were shorter. I want to say they were like 30-minute little snippets. And so I could listen to it on my way to work or to client meetings, and it really inspired me a lot. So I do go into podcasts and search for referrals. I've read a lot of different books, so I can't remember which title, though, was specific of most of the information. I really kind of glean as much as I can from other people and pick and choose what's going to work for me. So, any other questions? You're all welcome to reach out to me. I feel very passionate about this, obviously. And I've been a speaker at a bunch of different industry events, associations, and I feel like the more I can help other people, the more I win and learn from all of you as well. For example, I did, this isn't the topic, but I have a birthday program as well. And someone that was in Vegas listening to my birthday program, or listening to my presentation that included birthday programs, he added me to he developed one and added me to his list and sent me on my birthday his birthday program. And I got some ideas from it. He did a great job, and it gave me some ideas on how to freshen up my birthday program. And I felt so excited because I knew it was going to be a really great added value to his business and his customers. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to give you any information that I can.
Thank you very much, Stacy. Thank you so much. You're fantastic. And for all of those still on, if you'd like to have Stacy appear in person, talk to your executive director of your local regional or your trade show committee or professional development committee. I met Stacy last year. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama right now, and we were both speaking, and I was amazed by this presentation by her, and I think from the response we've had from everyone, you felt the same way about it. This is the first time we've actually filled our complete room. And next time I have her back, I'm going to have to buy a bigger webinar platform. Or in the words of words of the Jaws, looks like we're going to need a bigger boat. So thank you, everyone, for attending today. Tune in next month for a webinar on February 26th, where we're going to have Building Your Business with Social Media, featuring Mark Graham from Right Sleeve and commonsku as our presenter. Once again, Stacy, It was phenomenal. Thank you so much for being here today, and thanks everyone for listening. I will be, this is being recorded, and recording will be rendered later this afternoon. I will be posting it on MiPPA's Facebook page. Also, if you are looking for your CIS points, send me your PIN number, and I will make that so. So, thank you very much.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.